Let me share my screen with you. And I'm going to run you through some different screens with FTQ360. FTQ360 is a database. So all of your deficiency and inspection data is being broken down into the database. And I'm going to come
Okay.
back to this here in a second. But you're using your mobile device, bringing up your checklist on your tablet or phone.
Yeah.
You're able to go through all of the questions, all of those checkpoints, collect all of the data right there on the job site. And you're not
Right.
having to go back to the office and spend all those hours putting this report together. You're probably in areas with poor internet or poor cell
Oh, yeah.
service. So you're bringing everything up on your mobile device. It goes online and offline automatically. The app will manage that. You don't need to manage going offline and online. When the app goes offline, all of that information is saved to the tables on your mobile
Okay.
device. Once it's back in range, strong internet, strong cell service, then it's going to sync to the server. And
Right.
you're not even going to be aware of it, which makes a big difference. So we have a checklist, and it sounds like you've got several checklists that you've already created. You can easily import those into FTQ360. I'm going to show you our library of checklists here in a couple of minutes, and you can download and edit those checklists as well. A checklist is made up of line items that we call checkpoints. If everything looks correct, we're going to mark FTQ or the green button. That means that this item was inspected and it was right at the time of the inspection. It's first time quality. It was done right the
Right.
first time. If you find an issue that's going to require follow up, you're going to click the red or the open button. And now you're adding this to your punch list. You can add notes about the issue and then
Okay.
you camera icon to take a picture. My camera is being used in Zoom, so I preloaded this. You can take a picture. You can mark the picture up. You can assign it to a subcontractor. So let's say Kevin needs to take care of this. You can give it a due date. And we've got some key metric fields where you can give it a priority or a risk factor. Maybe this is a 10, a high risk issue. If it's a mid risk issue, give it a 5. If it's a low risk issue, give it a 1. You've got 4 more fields where you can keep track of anything else you want. So in this example, we're looking at the delay and cost. This may add 2 days and cost $1,000 to fix. Now you've also got reason codes. So you can tag each one of your deficiencies with a reason code. This is
Okay.
a bucket that you're placing it in. And you determine what your reason codes are. Let's say this was product manufacturer. That sounds like something that you really want to keep track of. Now you can keep track of how many times are you having product manufacturer errors. Then you can tie it back to your subcontractor. How many times does this particular subcontractor have a manufacturer error? It could be installation, subcontractor damage, plan design. All of those are basic reason codes. If we find an issue that's not represented by the checklist, you have a wildcard button here. We call this the dynamic checkpoint. I can add another open issue, and we've assigned this one to the second rig. I can take pictures and add notes. I can add as many of those as I need. You'd mentioned that you've got a lot of spreadsheets. You can
Yeah.
create tables in FTQ360 on your checklist, and you can enter the data. So here I can add another line item. I can keep adding line items. Just like Excel, you could put equations in any cell. In this case, we have a pass-fail equation. And so depending on what kind of information I enter here, so let's see if that will change it to a fail. Yeah, there we go. This is failing because X1 here is not the correct number. One of the things you can also add are buttons or drop downs. These are buttons that will add text into the observation field. So you don't have to type that out. Or you could come in here and use the drop down, and
Right.
which helps with data entry and data integrity. It keeps all of that data typed the exact same way. You can also Add approvals. So here, Tom's the inspector, and he would click approve, and then he can do his signature. And this works really well on a mobile device. Let's say that after he's done this inspection, he needs to have Cheryl approve it. He could select Cheryl's name, click ready for review, and now Cheryl will be notified that she needs to review this inspection and approve it.
Okay.
If you're ready to get the inspection, you click get PDF.
Right.
All of the line items, open issues, and the pictures. Here's what the table looks like, pass, fail. Our approvals down here with a signature. And then if I wanted to email this, I just click the email button and I can send this full inspection PDF report we were just looking at. Come in here and I grab an email out of our system, send it to somebody. I can change the subject line, add notes if I need to. Or if I just want to send out the deficiencies, I click open deficiency and we assign one item to Kevin and one item to second rig. And so now they're just going to receive those items that I've assigned to them. They're not going to receive anything else on the inspection, and they're certainly not going to receive each other's deficiencies.
Okay.
And that's the basics of doing the inspection. We've assigned this issue to Kevin. We can give Kevin his own restricted login so he can respond to errors assigned to him. Kevin logs in. He cannot change your notes and he cannot change your evaluation, but he could add his own notes into the second field and say, issue has been fixed. And then he could add his own picture. He would take a picture of the corrected work. We'll put a green check mark on here because it's been fixed. And then he's going to mark it ready for review. And that's going to notify you as the inspector that this item is now ready for reinspection. I could look at the picture, say, yep, that's what we were looking for. Then you're going to mark this from open to fixed. And that's what removes it from the punch list. It's no longer an open item, but you still have a record that we did have this problem with Kevin and he did fix it on this date. So if you remember at the beginning, I told you there's two different databases, one for your inspection data and one for your deficiency data. All of your deficiency data, from resolved and fixed issues to open issues, regardless of the project, are in this database. From day one, you start the account. You can use these filter headers. I'm only interested in deficiencies in oil rig 2. Now I can filter out oil rig 1. So these are all the deficiencies in oil rig 2. Maybe I'm only interested in the open issues. Now I have a list of all of the pending issues in this oil rig. I can see who the responsible party is. I can see the risk factor. We've got one seriously high risk and the rest are medium. I can see the due dates and what checklist and checkpoint were used. If I want to download this list into Excel, I can export it. Or if I want to look at any of these inspections, I can click either the report ID or the deficiency ID. When I click on that, it'll take me right to that deficiency. And maybe I just need to mark that as fixed because it's been marked ready for review. And now I can mark it as fixed and take that off the list. So all of our reporting and dashboards are also using those two databases. If you want to run PDF reports, and this could be inspection reports, deficiency reports, performance reports, data queries, you've got a printouts menu. I'm going to run a deficiency report, and I know that's the 405 report, so I entered it into my search, and now I can select that report, and I have filters on the right-hand side that I can use to narrow down the data. Let's say that I'm only interested in the oil rig project, or maybe the oil and gas project here. And I could come in here and select which phase I want. So I'm going to run all of the deficiencies in the oil rig phase of the oil and gas project here. And I hit continue. If there are further items I want to define, like the checklist or certain inspectors, or subcontractors, I can define those too. I click run report, I'll get a PDF, and it's going to list all of the issues along with any pictures, any notes. You can see overdue dates on seriously overdue, 6/20/30 last year. So I know, okay, I better check why is this still open? Any of these reports can be automatically sent to you as well.
Okay.
Let's say you need a weekly report of all of the inspections passed last week. Then FTQ360 can compile that and once a week send you all of those inspections. Or maybe you need a daily list of all of the overdue issues in a specific project. You could
Right.
set that workflow up for all of that to go out. And it doesn't just have to go to people in FTQ360. You could set it up because maybe there's an executive or a stakeholder who needs a weekly or a monthly report, but they don't ever log into FTQ360. But you can
Right.
set it up to go to their email address. Now, we've also got a lot of different dashboards available. This one is the reports dashboard, it's showing you all of your inspection data. And I'm looking at all projects in this account over the last 365 days. I can see how many inspections were done over the last year. We did 180 inspections. 33 of them are at pass status. 48 of them are complete with open. Here are my projects. I can see how many inspections were done in each project, along with the phases and the locations. And if I scroll down, see the checklists that are involved. Any component on this dashboard can be drilled down into. Let's say I'm only interested in this first project. I select that first project, and now all of this data is based on that project. I can see each phase on here and how many inspections we've done in each phase with the locations. If I scroll down, I see those individual inspections that make up this dashboard. Now, we were talking also about ITPs. So you can set up ITPs to monitor your inspection activity as well. In this case, I've got 3 projects here: Orlando, Dallas, and a Phoenix. I set up the inspections that I want them to do and the order that they should be done in. This project hasn't started yet. So all
Right.
of my inspections are listed and they should be following them in this order. The second project is just getting started. They have completed the first inspection and they're 50% done on the second inspection. If I click this little caret, I can see the inspections. There may be several inspections for this step, but they would all be listed here. And then I
Right.
click the
Okay.
report ID and I can open it up and look at it. Now, here's the important thing, and you alluded to this when we were talking earlier. Sometimes you don't know if they're following the inspection plan. This is going to show us on our third project immediately what's going on. They skipped the first inspection and they did the next 2, but they have open items. That's what that red is showing me, that there's open items pending on this inspection. Then they skipped one, did one, and now they're 50% done on the last inspection. So I
Mm.
know this project is not following the ITP plan, and I probably need to look into it. Is that what you were thinking when you were talking
Yep.
about ITGs? Good. And there's a lot more tools for you to use. I'm just showing you this one for the demo. Now, looking at our items, we have a dashboard to manage the pending items. This is my priority open deficiency dashboard. And here are all my projects and how many open items are in each project. The red is showing me overdue, and we're a little off balance. We got a lot of overdue items. That blue is showing me where it's ready for reinspection, and that green and sometimes yellow will show up here are stuff that's coming in the future. I can drill down into any one of these projects and see where these items are. This phase is having some issues because they have 9 overdue items. I can
Yep.
see on those items, 2 of them are a high risk issue. Most of them are mid risk, and we've got one that's a low risk issue. So I may want to focus on those high risk issues. This is showing me where they are. And if I click show deficiencies, it's going to open up that grid. And here are those 2 high risk issues in that phase. If I click the report ID or the deficiency ID, it'll open up that inspection and I can take a look at it and see what's going on there. Now, let's talk a little bit about performance. You'd mentioned some of the key metrics that you want to get out of the software, and we've got more dashboards, but this one just gives you a flavor. This is my performance dashboard. I can see my trends for FTQ as well as deficiencies. I've got a list here of my top recurring checkpoints. These are my top recurring deficiencies, and we're looking at all projects over the last 365 days.
Yeah.
This first issue has occurred 85 times, and this second issue has occurred 41 times. These are my top two recurring issues across all projects.
Yep.
If I want to look by category, you would set these categories for your checklist, and you would have a ranking of which categories are producing errors and which ones are fine. This first category is 100%. We have zero issues with that particular category. But as we
Okay.
start scrolling down, let's see, concrete has
Yep.
serious problems. Their quality score is 51%, meaning they get things right 51% of the time in this category. If we select it, we can see the top recurring concrete issues, which will be your top recurring issues too. But I can also compare those subcontractors, and you'd mentioned that was important to you. Here I can see this subcontractor has had 83 issues, and this subcontractor has had 57 issues. If I select best concrete here, now I can see what their top recurring issues are, and I can actually download this list. If I'm going to meet with them, then we can talk about why are you having these top recurring issues? What's going on here?
Yep.
And then I also have a quality score. They get things done right 51% of the time. I can compare that with our other company, and their quality score is 52%. So they're not much better. Now I can start making decisions based on real data from our projects and not gut instinct, hard facts. I'm just going to open up the user setup here. And so these are all of my users in this account. We'll take Tom, for example, and I can control his user access. He has the ability to create inspections or perform inspections in just
Right.
these projects here that are checked. But let's
Okay.
say that this project, he shouldn't be doing any inspections, but he may need to edit or view inspections. Then I can
Right.
remove the create and give him just view and edit. And
Okay.
these that aren't checked at all, he doesn't even know they exist when he logs in. Based on your subscription, you'll have a limited number of inspectors. Your
Okay.
inspectors are those people that have create access. Your
Right.
edit and view users are unlimited. And we know you may have a lot of subcontractors logging in, and that's expected.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at our checklist here. These are all of the checklists in this account, and they're very easy to update. If I wanted to update this particular checklist, I would select it and then go to the checkpoints or the line items. These are all of the line items. I select that line and change the text if I want to. I can move lines around. It's just drag
Okay.
and drop. I can add new ones by clicking the add new button or make one inactive because we don't need plan version anymore because we don't
Right.
need it on future inspections. So it's very easy to edit them. If you want to go to our library, click here on the add new button, go to the library, and here are all of the different. So now I can come in here and add a keyword. So you said electrical was a type that you're looking for. Here are all the electrical checklists available. As you scroll down, you can add more keywords to narrow this list. And if you hover over the eye, you can see what's on the checklist. And if this is one that you want to add to your account, you just select it. You may want to select a category or create a new category. You can change the checklist code. And then when you add it, it's going to be added to your list of checklists in your account. Now you can come in and edit it.